up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 13.32, Necromancers in the Wind, where we are covering the novel Deadbeat. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
The day before my 16th birthday, I got my guitar. Hey guys, as we wrap up Deadbeat, we want to announce that we're not yet ready to leave the Necromancer genre. This is our last episode of the year, and coming in hot January 1st will be 2 new exciting releases. For a start, McAnally's Pubcast will be releasing our next installment, starting with I Am a Teenage Bigfoot, which is a short story found in briefcases. We are then going to follow that up with the graphic novel War Cry, and then the short story Something Borrowed, which can be found in Side Jobs. And then we will come in with Proven Guilty following all that. Additionally, on January 1st, we will also be releasing our new podcast, The Necromancers. As an early bird access to our Patreon subscribers, the podcast will eventually be released to the masses in 2026, but for 2025, it will be Patreon only. The Necromancers follows the Johannes Cabal series by author Jonathan L. Howard, starting with a series of short stories before we get into the first book, The Necromancer. Episodes will be released twice a month. For more information, please check freeflowrambling.com or thenecromancers.ca. Happy holidays! We are so excited to have another book and year under our belts. Thank you to absolutely everyone who tunes in and listens to these free flow ramblings every single week and sends us their thoughts and critiques. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're super excited to come in with that new one.
Woo!
Hey folks! Just a quick editor's note that our schedule for McAnally's Pubcast has been pushed back just a little bit. Due to some unforeseen equipment issues, we'll be back somewhere closer to mid-January. Our new release for the Necromancers, though, is still scheduled for January 1st. Hope you have a great holiday. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling. Chapter 43. Bob updates Harry on the aftermath of the DarkHallow. Harry gets the blackmail material from Mavra by giving her the Word of Kemmler and threatens her to never use him ever again.
Yeah, bitch.
Don't you ever mess with my friends. Ever.
So the good news is, Harry comes to.
He lived! Woo! Getting dicey there for a second.
It's always a hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
The boy who lives repeatedly.
Right?
A bitch. That other bitch, Harry, only had to do it once. Maybe twice.
And he won't even remember it because he was a little baby.
Right.
Harry remembers the pain each and every time.
And wakes up neck deep in a well of it right now. Oh, yes.
Oh, Earl King.
I was hurting. Oh, yeah, him too.
Yeah, the Earl King decides to let Harry free because he's so impressed. And because Harry is just too easy to kill right now.
It would just be sad and pathetic if I were to end you now.
But be warned, not so lucky next time.
This is still, again, to that point that we brought up last episode of, like, he keeps escaping when he should just be murdered right away.
Right.
The Earl King just being like, you're kind of amusing, and it would be sad. So you get to live tonight, but the next time...
I'm all about, like, the hunting and the game, and there's no game in this. It's just, not
That's gonna fuck you
sportsmanlike
up later,
at all.
Earl King, okay? Don't give him that opportunity.
Or will it? But yes, luckily for Harry, being pathetic has his second superpower.
Only Mavra could see it that way. You're too pathetic to mess with. Goodbye.
Right? You're either really, really powerful and win the day, or you are so pathetic that they just let you crawl away.
That's really funny. I wish video games, like, when you go to fight the
big bad?
huge boss, but you're not a good enough level, they either end you immediately or they say, like, come back later when you're, I don't know, that sort of thing. But it would be really funny if they were always just like,
you're too pathetic to kill right now.
This is just sad for both of us.
It's like Bowser, suddenly there's like a little door that appears in the background and he's just like, no. Like walks out.
He just opens the door for you. He's like, just go.
He just walks out and leaves you.
You're seriously going to walk in here without any mushrooms? Just go.
Like, dude.
Respect my time.
Right. But interesting, because he does say, you called for the mighty hunter that has not walked this earth since time gone and forgotten. So apparently it's been a while since the wild hunt has visited.
Oh, I thought he was
He's
talking about
Sue.
the Sue.
Yeah.
Oh. I honestly thought he was talking about calling forth the Earl King. Interesting.
The mighty hunter that has not been called forth. The Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah. That does have a different ring to it. Mm-hmm. That would be...
I like to think of it, though, that,
It does work the other way, though.
I kind of get what
because
he's
he does
saying.
say he's daring, arrogant, and it pleases him. But you're right. Because then he immediately goes like, oh, you're poor game at the moment. So I totally thought he was referring to himself. I always have. You're right. He probably means Sue.
I took it to mean that he meant Sue, and also that it's a little bit more confirmation that the supernatural hasn't been here for 65 million years waiting for humans to fuck with. They kind of also developed what humanity developed too. Their supernatural magic in the world was like, dinosaurs aren't worth it to us, sort of a thing. It's not like there was just like Mab and the Earl King and whoever sitting around staring at dinosaurs like, this is fucking boring. We need something else. Let's blow this place up and bring in some humans to fuck with.
I mean, very possibly, because, they do talk about whatever and demons walking the earth before man, and that's all descent. I mean, like you say, these specific ones may somehow have kind of, such that I don't know if immortals evolved the same way.
I just think there was maybe a little bit of like a progression together, We all came out of the ocean together, and they went off and did magic and fairy shit, and we were like, capitalism.
Yeah. And look where that's going. But yeah, exactly. That is so funny.
We finally got one on Mom.
You finally, yeah.
Only took 7 books. 7.
Yeah, this is the 7th book. Yeah. Yeah, that is so funny.
So funny. So moving on from that, Earl King Lexington.
But I mean, he did call forth a mighty hunter. I mean, come on.
Called in a couple. Called forth a couple.
Called in a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's so daring, so arrogant.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty.
Mm-hmm. So Harry finds Bob back in his skull, and Bob admits that because Cal had put him down, he was able to make a choice and help Harry again.
Right? Well, Harry tried to help him too. Harry fell and shielded the skull.
That's right.
And
he
Bob
finds himself curled up around him.
And Bob, meanwhile, fell and shielded himself around Ramirez. So it's like, oh, they're such good friends.
Right.
I protect yours, you protect mine.
I love how Bob is so, nonchalant about it. Like, oh, yeah, by the way, I think that guy's, alive over there. And he's like,
care.
Oh, my God. He's like, well, I figure, since you're a word now, I guess we're protecting other words.
You hadn't gotten a promotion earlier today.
Yeah, but I'll just let him rot.
Bob, There's the banner about, we only care about the person exuding influence on us. Bob's like, we don't like wardens? Fuck it, let him die. And then he's like, ugh, we got a promotion today. I guess I'll save the warden.
Well, promotion. I don't know. You got a title. You got drafted.
Inscription, promotion.
Conscription.
Oh, well.
I mean, there might be an inscription, too. But
an
inscription from Bob would be like, fuck these guys.
I've never joined a draft before. Sorry, I don't know the wording.
Fair. We can fix that. You kind of got drafted into this.
True. Come have lunch with me and Tanzan.
Guess what? You said yes. Oh, my fault. You didn't read the fine print. So, unlike the zombies that I guess may or may not continue on after their owner dies, the hex on the city has gone with so apparently all the lights are back on now and da-da-da-da-da, and the phones and everything.
This is very convenient for Butcher to not have to explain any of our questions from the previous chapter. He's like, Harry was passed out. I don't know what happened to the zombies. We don't know what happened to the fucking vortex storm.
Right. Bob didn't give a shit about them. All they cared about was the dinosaur.
Right.
So
Bob does confirm that Cal and Komori are still probably returning from the atmosphere and little bitty pisses.
Well, yes, he quote-unquote confirms this big question mark. Because, yeah, he's like, oh, I imagine they're, like, floating down around us. And he's like, oh, you saw them die? No, but, I mean, probably. So,
But he also does say something along the lines of that every enchantment, including the dinosaur, were disrupted for hundreds of miles around, so...
yeah, so Bob is making a educated guess here and is very plausible and most likely probable. But just because Harry had to say, did you see him die? You're like, oh, great, you've left that teeny tiny question. So maybe we'll see them again. I don't know.
Okay, but I have this question based on the dinosaur was disrupted by the whole thing going kablooey. But there's this part where they say that Butter tends to Lucio's wound while Morgan takes over drumming. Which, number one, it's just funny to think of Morgan in the
sitting
polka
there
suit.
with his like busted leg. Oh yeah.
But if Sue's not active, why is he still drumming?
Because that was before.
Before, to keep her going, all that. So when Harry
left
was riding her into battle.
Lucio needed medical attention.
I took that as more of like more
Right
current,
now.
not like
No. Yeah, that was wild.
That answers my question then. Thank you.
Yes, yeah,
I thought your question was going to be why wasn't Bob destroyed when all the other enchantments were destroyed? Because isn't Bob just an enchantment of himself? But he's really more of a spirit, and so if he'd been, he was holding a body in Sue, so that got destroyed, but he himself is okay.
And he's got a name now.
I think, he's a spirit of her, and that, I guess, partially has to do with Harry shielding this. I mean, I don't know if that was literally just from, like, physical debris raining down on it, or part of, because the skull has to be some kind of enchantment.
I get the skull is a protected land, I guess.
Yeah, but like he's saying, obviously it can be like damaged or destroyed to some degree because they do have to, but it does raise an interesting that is this, again, we're just not including that in the type of all these necromantic enchantments that went kablooey, or is there something?
Of the storm was safe.
The eye of the storm and Harry being a physical living person around
Maybe because it was around, the coat was around the skull.
Right, like, oh yeah, his coat should be like, fuck now, he's got to redo all the enchantments on that thing.
Blasting rod, garbage. Coat, garbage. Shield bracelet, garbage.
Which it already was. That thing was leaking like.
But still, maybe let's just say, the eye.
Yeah, but the same way that like Sue's necromantic power protected Harry and Ramirez from entering the circle, did Harry's like mortal essence protect the skull from all the dissipating necromantic energy? I don't know.
Well, clearly, because Bob is still here.
Yeah, well, whether it was not affected by the skull itself, but yes, yeah. And I love that thing where he's like, you had to go for the dinosaur, right? Like, I thought you'd grab a zombie or something. He's like, why have wieners, but you can have steak? I'm like, touche, Bob. Like, how many, like, you got to ride a dinosaur, I fucking get to ride a dinosaur, like, come on. And
the job didn't need disposable thumbs.
Right?
Disposable.
Did not need that either.
Zombies have disposable thumbs.
I totally missed that until you,
I corrected myself before you corrected me, okay?
You did, but I don't know.
Oh, lost another pair. Let's get some more.
Those little T-Rex claws.
We should be able to grow body parts, though.
We are able to grow body parts, just not at will.
Just once. No, like I get like men can't do shit, but woman, if you can grow an entire person inside your body, you should be able to regrow limbs perpetually forever.
There you go.
Just like salamanders.
Right?
Yeah. We should have that ability. It's not fair.
That would be nice.
I clearly have the capability.
I also don't want to be frightened and have my leg fall off at some point either.
You have too many conditions.
You gotta take a good thing and just put that weird spin on it.
You're welcome.
Just cross hands with a salamander and a fainting goat. Something startles her and she just flops over and her limbs scatter in like 4 different directions.
I wouldn't be your friend anymore. You'd have to figure out your own puzzle body yourself.
You're just gonna regrow. It doesn't matter. They've just...
I feel like this is the plot point of Deadpool. But adding the fainting goats is funnier.
Like, not only do you just freeze up, but then all your limbs, like, pop off and go... like, just...
Damn it again!
Oh, goodness.
Which is funny, because Tanzan is, on occasion, easily startleable. Which is why it's so
It'd be like a triumph when she showed up to an event with all 4 limbs. We'd be like,
Woo! And then that would immediately freak her out. She would fall to pieces like a Lego person.
okay, recap time.
Recap time.
Harry had to drag all of the wardens back to his place for some little first aid, and apparently did a shit job.
A lot of first aid.
Because the senior council showed up and were like, all right, we're going to do some real actual help now. Thanks, bro.
Which, I mean, in all fairness, okay, this is not Harry's deal. It's not like Harry's normally like, you know, I always do first aid on everybody all through a book, and it's like, no. It's like, dude, we got him out of, like, the battlefield before all the normies showed up and started being like, what the fuck is all these dinosaur footprints doing in the middle of town? And yeah, now can we get some real fucking help over here? But again, kudos. Like, I love that they had that. But yeah, Morgan taking over or whatever, right? And that Butters has gone to work on his first aid. And as such, right? The other guys, whatever. But he's managed to save Lucio so far, right? Where there's hope. And that Ramirez ended up broken ribs and dislocated shoulders. But dude's, like, not dead. And not a lot of, like, necessarily, he's not gushing blood or anything, you know? So really, I don't know what the fuck Cowell did, but Cowell really just knocked him on his ass. And when he could have, I'm sure, like, obliterated his organs.
Not dead yet. I feel fine.
It's just a flesh wound. But, oh yeah, and that's the other important thing we can't forget. That, yeah, when Bob's like, oh yeah, by the way, that guy's alive, and Harry's like, oh, let's go save him. But first, let me just rifle through one more corpse's pockets, and let me get, like, after all the good thing Harry is, because I was kind of so beyond that at this point. I'm like, oh, you still have to give the book to, like, everybody already used the book. What good is the book?
The whole original plot device.
The whole original plot device, which is good and grand, I guess, but one, the A, that he's still thinking about that, because at this point, I would have been like, well, this is useless. She doesn't need it now. Like, I know that's what he hired her for, but I'm like, these guys already did the thing, and they did it now, and it didn't work, so... But I'm like, I guess it wasn't just a one-shot. It works great on Halloween with the whole thin veil, but I'm like, I guess this isn't a one-time only spell. These things can... Not like some big cosmological, it's only once every 1,000 years that everything aligns. So I'm like, okay, I guess it's
something there.
But yeah, but I was like, right, I was like, these guys already did it. Harry, botched it, that's it. End of story. Kemmler's book is useless, but, so I guess not.
No,
but, yeah,
not quite.
Good thing I'm not Harry, because I would have fucked Murphy over. I would have been like, hey, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I would have gone,
fuck that bitch.
Yeah. I would have been, wait, you still used it? Like, what? I thought we were done with that. But yes, so he goes and just makes sure, looks around, like, again, okay, who doesn't? But I just love how, like, it's always a thing of, like, the very act of looking around to make sure nobody's watching you is what draws the attention and makes people look at you.
Well, this is why, okay, first of all, yes, it is, okay?
Right.
I work in a 7-Eleven, okay?
And the
amount of people that turn and look at me, and then, well, I wasn't watching you before,
but
now I am.
Yeah, right?
Exactly, because, like, a regular customer doesn't give a shit about the employees. They're like, I'm here for a Slurpee and a Kit Kat bar. I'm gonna go get a Slurpee and a Kit Kat bar.
Well,
but the person who wants to steal a Kit Kat bar is like, hi, how are you? Where do you keep the chocolate bars in this store? I'm so casual.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It's ridiculously, like, me and my coworkers talk about all the time. It's like, it's crazy how you just instantly know, because they all do the exact same thing. They all think they're so sly, and I'm like, yeah, a real non-suspicious person just gets their shit.
Just because they don't care if you're watching them pour a Slurpee. They're just pouring a Slurpee. Yeah, there's nothing.
But anyways, this is a little bit more, again, or were they? Dun, dun, dun. Like, it's so stupid. Like,
thankfully, there was no one around to see me because they were all dead and died.
I definitely believe you,
Left them on the other side of the quad, so, they're all down behind that tree that Morgan conveniently cut down in the last chapter. And
it's even a little bit suspicious at all.
Well, like, it's hilarious, too, because I'm like, okay, I'm sure in the effect that it really, really... whatever. I sometimes, like, the way my house is and facing the neighbors and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, sometimes I come home and I'm, like, it always makes me feel like sort of looking to the side there where they are. So I'm kind of, and yeah, mostly there's nobody there, sure, like, assuming nobody, but I'm like, it's funny because when you actually watch it in shows and you see, like, somebody stick their head out and look back and forth, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so obvious. So you're like, if somebody actually was keeping tabs on you or watching them, like, it's always so funny because, again, like you say, in your store or whatever, right? But even if you're, like, on an empty street, you know? I'm like, yeah, if there's nobody there, nobody's there to see you doing it. But as soon as you look around to see if then it's, like, obvious you were looking to see if anybody's looking at you, you know? It's not just, like it's so funny, one of those things. Just, like, I gotta see that people are, but I can't because if I do it, then they'll know, and... Yep.
Don't look now, but
yes.
Yeah. And it's good because we know the last time we saw Thomas, he was sent away to go deliver this note to the council. Clearly, he succeeded because they were where they were supposed to be when Harry arrived later on.
Yeah, had some clue.
And then they said in the plan, come back to Murphy's when you're done with that. So at least he's not sitting around at Harry's right now when the council shows up and is like, hey, nice place.
That's true. Well, was it supposed to be Murphy's? I didn't even remember that part.
He said he would come back to Murphy's at the end.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I'll meet you back here. And then
because I was
never went back
like,
to
he
Murphy's.
was supposed to show up and help or something like that, wasn't he? But okay, whatever it was.
He was going to meet back at Murphy's house,
Yeah,
but Harry and Butters never went back to Murphy's house. They were busy with other shit.
Which you're right, he couldn't
Breaking
really...
into Radio Shack.
Yeah. That was ages ago. Okay, that was way before then. And I do like, too, where he's like, Thomas eventually... it turns out the bike broke down and shit. Mm-hmm. So he didn't actually get back to it. I think maybe that's part of why I felt like he was supposed to maybe do something else or be around for backup if needed. Because, he couldn't run in with them because the wardens were going to be there. But I feel like he was supposed to. And he's like, sorry, I couldn't do anything else because apparently the bike busted on him. But I love how he shows up and then shortly after, like, Mouse trots in. It's like, oh yeah, you guys took off out of, right? Like after Cal came and stole Bob and everything like that, and you ran to go check on Butters and everything, and then you're like, well, you better come with me. You're like, oh yeah, you didn't, which again, sensical, you know. But you're like, did you just like leave him out in the yard, or did Mouse go running off with, like, I can't even remember where, you know? I was like, did Mouse just have to find his way out of Murphy's house, or did they, like, leave the door open for him?
No, we spoke about that, though. He was left to the Field Museum when he...
Oh, that's where we left. Right. That's where we last had him, yes.
So, and the Mouse found his way home.
Yeah.
He's a dog. Yeah, so... But that's why it's so suspicious, because Harry still is believing that this dog is just a dog, and it's like, what, you bro?
Yeah, like, again, I'm like, you've only had him, like, a year now. I'm sure he knows where home is, but again... Dogs, a lot of them seem to have a very different mode, like on cats and things like that. Like, I know in our smallish town, there's a bit of a problem because the guy that used to own, like, the old hotel there that has been, like, defunct forever, that had a bunch of, like, stray cats and stuff like that. So when he, like, moved out or tried to run in whatever, he tried to move all of the cats. And they all just keep going back there because they're like, that's right. And so, it's a smallish town. It's not that far to go. It's perfectly conceivable, but they're very much like, no, this is our place. Even though we're trying to move like 3 blocks over, they're like, that's not home. This is still home. You have
to keep cats inside when you move for at least 2 to 3 weeks for them to reorient it.
And he has, and actually, I will say kudos to that, is that because they eventually was just a stray cat population. It wasn't like his 2 house cats. Mm-hmm. This is like, and he did actually like round up as many of them and whatever and get them all like spayed and neutered so that it would not continue contributing to the stray cat, which I think is actually
very admirable.
That actually is, they're not hit, like it was just stray cats that all moved into like this whole stray, you know, I mean, again, we're enough out there that we have enough open, and I'm like, sure, there's a few feral stray cats and all that, but I did think that because, people anyways. But same thing, right? He's like been trying to move and shift them and get them to start, but again, they're all just like, right. So dogs, again, I don't always hear quite the same stories of that, but it's still interesting that, again, Chicago is not a small... Harry's not just been bombing around his neighborhood or his small town. This isn't like Stars Hollow. He's like in fucking Chicago, and he has been all over. He's been out to the lakeside to call up Leah/Matt. He's been to, like, the
I don't think
Forensic
Mouse was tracking
Institute.
Harry. I think Mouse did just go home.
Well, no, I know, but you know what I mean? Like, I just felt like exactly like Harry just has been... It's not like Mouse just had a short way to go home or whatever, where you're conceivable, right? You're like... Yeah, Harry's been like to literally all the ends of the city. Who knows how the fuck far away the Field Museum is from Harry's house. And Mouse is still just like, yo, bro. And he's like, hey, my dog's home. You know? Like...
This is the short story where we get, like, Mouse went on, like, 32 other adventures between here and there.
It makes me think of that Due South episode. There's, like, Diefenbaker's Day Off or something like that, and, like, Frasier goes out to work.
Totally, 100% that episode,
like, hikes up the window and goes down the fire and has, like,
100%
all his own little, like, police dog adventures.
He saved, like, 35 kids from a burning building, ate, like, 71 zombies, made a contract with Mab on his own.
Saved a bunch of other dogs from the dog catcher. catchers, you know.
Yeah, he like went and released all the dogs from the pound.
We're waiting for that one, Butcher. Come on.
He probably ran into Mouse like beating up another dog, and he was like, "All right, let's go."
Mr. You.
Mr.
I was like, yeah, Mr. Yeah,
You're right.
probably. Mr.
Or even funnier,
Leave the poor pit bull alone.
I don't believe this is how it happened, but it would have been even funnier if like Mouse stayed at the Field Museum, like watching the car wagging his tail, and Mr. was like, "All right, bud, let's go." And Mr. showed up and was like, "Hey, man."
What the fuck are you doing here? Actually, yeah, he probably wouldn't have been let go. He probably just would have been like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then a mouse just, and he like quit following.
Mr's like, I always come here to chew on the soup.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean it's gone?
Like, yeah, that mouse was just like, hey, nice of you to show. I'm just gonna follow you home because you know where them. Mr. just being like, go away, quit following me.
That's the episode. Mr. just tried to like ditch Mouse like 85 times. Okay,
Jesus,
so
like, come all the way to the other side of the city and this fucking dog is still here. Hurry!
we also get this great moment where Morgan shows up. He is currently taking over Lucio's responsibilities while she reorients herself with her body.
Yeah, and I like that there's an interesting take that it's not just an automatic, okay, they got to make sure she's of sound mind and body. So first of all, okay, are you going to recover from this fatal stab wound and stuff? That is
Fair enough.
Just going to, yeah, right? Decent amount of recovery time then. But they're like, yeah, we're just going to see what else effect this has on you, this whole body swapping.
Yeah.
And yeah, interesting. And what other effects it may have or not on you.
That's kind of
So we're just gonna, not leave you in charge of all our soldiers right now.
And it's like a good idea too with a new body. Like, am I allergic to anything? I got to figure that out.
Well, this right.
What's my blood type?
Right. So embarrassing to get out in
What
the
kind of
middle
shampoo and conditioner works best for my hair?
I've got like, she went from like this, iron gray like crew cut, now she's got all like this curly, that's right. Totally, you can relate. A whole different way to take care of that hair. Yeah.
What's my skin type?
Right, exactly. Oh, I sunburn so easily now. God damn it. No more hikes through the desert in the Wild West for me. You have like SPF 4900.
Even just the perspective of your house, if you gained or lost a couple inches, would probably be like trippy.
Right.
How do you think that would affect magic users? Like, because is that a genetic sort of
This
trait?
is exactly what their issue is.
And this is another part of it, is I'm sure is her magic just as it was, or...
And will be answered in upcoming books.
Here I think I'm so clever, I probably just the back of my head and I'm like, oh yeah.
I mean, it is covering up. It is...
But yeah, so Morgan is currently acting within her...
Yeah, he is the acting...
head of
captain. That's
captain,
the word.
yes.
What is Lucio? Commander-in-Chief, yes.
I mean, honestly, everything that he says to Harry is quite fair, okay? He's like, Lucio gave you the promotion. I can't take that away, and you proved yourself enough. I don't fucking like you, and also his exact insults, I think you're arrogant and...
You're arrogant and make bad choices. Mm-hmm. You're young and brash and stupid, essentially.
Agree with all of that, 100%. I don't think that Harry is the most powerful wizard in the world. I don't think that Harry is... first of all, you just know the senior council's got to have some on him. And most of these wardens are essentially in his weight class, okay? Harry's not just this amazingly...
Yeah, he's not more... His thing is that, kind of for his age and stage, he's a step above. But yes, on par with... and he said it a number of times, anybody on the senior council can squish him.
Any of the senior council. But most of the wardens are generally within his purview as well, okay? They're all essentially equal as far as power, etc., etc., etc. The reason that Mab or Bianca or the Fallen or whatever is going after him is because he's a stupid, brash, irrational kid.
Yeah.
He's easier to tempt than Morgan or Lucio or Ebenezer or whatever, so...
Well, and that's the thing, and that's part of his thing is, like I say, he's maybe on par with Morgan, but we've discovered in this that Morgan has been on his beat for 50 years or 150 years or whatever, right? Harry is just his first time around, his first 25, 30 years, and already he's up there with the 150-year-old wizard, right? He's just got that raw, that exactly, he's not the most, but that's the thing, is that he's already... And again, as we've had snips and snippets and hints and things too, is that there might be a little more going on with Harry as to why some of that may be, or what else may be in store for him because of that,
That's what I'm saying, though, is I fully get, it's not that Harry's just the main character of the book and stuff only happens to him. It's that when things happen to the other wizards, they're like, no, fuck off. They shut it down immediately, whereas Harry's like... Ooh, interesting. Maybe.
Well, again, it's so. I mean, really, like Potter and Longbottom kind of a thing. That whole self-fulfilling prophecy kind of whatever, right? It could easily have been either one, but because we're all focused on you, this is where it's all going to come down, and right, and that's some of it too. That exactly. I'm like, sure, there may be other wizards out there that are, but they're not as aware of or what. I mean, I don't know what.
Well, and that's interesting to say. That was Voldemort's self-fulfilling prophecy, not Harry's or
no, it wasn't not Harry's or Longbottom's, but it was Voldemort decided that I think you're important, and that's what made Harry important.
But that's what makes it almost even worse, though. Exactly, is that the fact that Mab or Bianca or Nicodemus or an infinite amount of bad guys are specifically saying, like, we want to get you now before you're a bigger problem, but that's only making him a bigger problem faster and faster and faster. But
yeah,
all that to say, though, is that I agree with Morgan when he says, okay, fine, I trust your heart's in the right place. You're just finally
fine. You're not doing it out of malice. You're just, a raging dumbass.
Which is fair.
Totally fair.
But also, Harry gets paychecks for being a warden.
What? Money?
That's interesting. We didn't know that they had an economy.
Yeah, right. You never, I mean, again, it makes sense. You have to live in our reality. And if your job is to do all this, then how are you? But
I just want to know, like, how are they making money? They must be doing some sort of work.
Yeah, well, all these guys up in their towers, Harry said it himself. He just fucked it up. Weight loss potions, hair growth potions.
Yeah, I was about to say snake oil potions.
Right.
Maybe so.
Where do you think this influx of energy drinks has come from? They've
got, like, the Venomatorium and all this shit. They're just paying them dues.
Right, like, exactly. I'm like, there could be a tithing system here, like... any other major religion.
Money duplication spell.
The alumni association, just, Dear Lucio. Now that you've been around for 200 years, would you like to donate to the...
Wise investment.
I was just going to say that's again,
no
right? Again, you've got these long age, right? They've just...
And that's even more of why I think that Justin is, like, a genius. He was so smart. How did he fucking pick Harry? How did he know at only 11 years old? Was it straight up just like Maggie's kid has got to be fucking amazing. Like, I gotta get in on that right away. Or was there some other reading in the stars that apparently everyone else has also read, and they're all like, and we'll get into it again later, but...
Yeah, well, they have... It's only briefly mentioned. We haven't sort of got to any kind of import on it yet, but but it's mentioned that Harry's like starborn and blah, blah, blah. Just, he doesn't really know what that means, so we haven't really, right? So I think it could very well be that exactly, long time coming. There's, you know what I mean, that whether they knew it was going to be him or not,
Prophecy
or Maggie's, or, but yeah, exactly, right? That, some powerful person is going to, or this, that, or the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, like, Justin must have had something. I doubt he just completely 100% lucked into all of it, right?
Well, no, this is what I'm saying, though, is that I just, like...
Yeah.
It's interesting that, Justin was on the beat faster than anyone else.
Yeah, or I mean, it could simply have been that even, if he didn't know about actually, it could simply have been like, her kid's gonna be a heavy, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, though. It's like, I don't know exactly which indication it was for him, but the fact that he was faster than everyone else is kind of amazing to me.
Yes, well, yeah. I mean, who knows, I guess. It depends, like you say. I've never really thought about it much either, but... Given some of Maggie's friends and acquaintances, maybe she was more buddy-buddy with Justin than other, right? Because, I mean, again, part of it had to, whether it was purposely kept secret or just, again, the nature of her associations where, right, it doesn't seem like a lot of people knew she had a kid, or maybe they all thought the kid died in childbirth with her or something like that, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
Kind of, or again, she just had removed herself enough of, because you're right, you think there would have been a lot more people ready to snatch him out,
Exactly.
But I mean, again, Dad didn't die, right? Just, who knows, maybe just Dad being normal mortal and whisking him away into the normal mortal world and not, like, I don't know. There's 100 million. But yeah, she could have been more buddy-buddy with Justin. But
I mean, it's even more of the fact that, his dad died when he was 6. He went into foster care, orphanage, whatever, from 6 to 11. That's a long time for no one to snatch you up.
Yeah.
It would have made sense if it was like, he was adopted at 6. It was like, Dad had been dead a week, and then he was... But the fact that there was like, a potential 5 years for anyone to act on it, and Justin got there first is what, to me, is just like, that's actually amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, like you say, right, yes, it does. And we don't have...
Anyways, there'll be more on that later.
Anyway. But yes. And I like how, too, where he's like, fine, I guess you're not that bad. And Harry, like, drops the penny. Morgan's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just making sure gravity's still in play. Like, the world isn't tilted on its axis. And Morgan is like, I fucking hate you. He's like, here's your check. And Harry's like, what? So, yeah, not a fortune. But he says it's going to be a nice addition to his investigative. So, my God, Harry might not be scraping the barrel. We know he's still not going to be rich. It's not a fortune. But all
and
of
on
a sudden,
top of the fact that
rent might not be 3 months behind every book.
As he said to Lucio, I'm already doing almost everything you said I had to do.
Yeah.
It's like, it's nice. You get actual acknowledgement, monetary acknowledgement of what you're already doing, and your life barely changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and again, I'm not going to give you any more. I'm not going to give you anybody under your control because you're still a dumbass I don't trust because you're stupid.
Also, everyone's dead.
But also, there isn't anybody. And, yeah, the other regional commander specifically wanted to liaise with you, and he's like, Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez lived and got a promotion too.
And got a promotion.
Which again, not that, amazing when everyone died, but
everyone died. Also, as Morgan says, we could hardly gainsay him given his recent role in events. And Harry's like, who just lived that managed it? So, yeah, out of Los Angeles. So we found all right. So they're kind of bopping, and I just love how he's like, where Morgan basically is like, I think it's when he says basically like, fine, you're not whatever, and he's like, oh my God, this is like the equivalent of like Emperor Constantine converting to like Morgan almost said like, I'm sorry or something, or I was wrong, or like, holy crap. And then he's like, wow, thanks, Morgan. And Morgan's like, fuck you. Yeah, I don't even want to say you're welcome, but
speaking of fuck you.
Well, before that even, when Listens to Win, we haven't seen you for a bit. When he pops up to pick everybody up, Harry overhears them talking, and Morgan's like, I can't fucking believe all this went down. Like, how it did at once. Like, that's a crazy coincidence. Like, it can't be. And Harry's like, yeah, it wasn't. And there's another fucking tie-in to the whole thing, right? So all of these heavy hits from the vampire court that put them so badly down.
And that's a good point. Yes. They were all working with each other in the background saying, you know what a good time would be?
Yeah.
We can all just make this line up at once. And that did answer some questions we had because the Red Council was hoping for this Cold War for a while there.
Some of them were.
They made this attack too early, and then they wanted to pull back. And then thus far, they've been in this sort of stalemate of not wanting to do anything too big, too fast.
Yeah, there was like a little bit of uproar, and then it's kind of been quieter for the last bit. So yeah.
And then out of nowhere, they rushing through the Never Never without a deal with Mab. They're attacking the senior council.
Result.
They had human people in place all ready to go after them. And the DarkHallow's happening. And like, it is a little bit like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, and I just love the moment where he's like, what would they, like, why would the Reds go in with them? Like, what do they get out of it? And he's like, senior council. And Morgan's like, there's no way. Like, by then, they're holed up in Edinburgh. That place is a fucking fortress that it'd take, oh, shit, right? And he's like, yeah. He literally was making himself into, or whoever, came out of this was, going to be a god or a demigod or whatever. And at that point, because you're right, ordinarily, who cares? They wouldn't have reason to, right? But you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You get them out of my way to do this, I'll be strong enough to get them out of your way for good too.
And you wonder Cowell's intentions. Would he have gone through with it for them? Or once he was ascended and he was like, fuck
that
you guys, I'm doing whatever I want.
That's the risk there.
That is the other slight thing I was thinking about.
Because that's the crazy thing to me is that they were like, oh yeah, we'll help you become a god. We just want to kill a couple wizards. Like, that doesn't seem like a fair fucking trade at all.
Right. I mean, I was going to say unless they downplayed it somehow, but I guess they couldn't really. They'd have
their magical word.
Yeah, maybe. But I was thinking about, like, not so much in other readings, but again, in, like, prep and stuff today, and I was more like, that would be really funny, though, because, like, you just give them the other stuff, Carol being like, yeah, whatever, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Like what are you gonna do? And he's a straight up god.
Yeah,
minor god. He's still a god.
Right. Like at this point.
Okay. Let me snap my fingers. No more senior council or red vampires.
Right. I was like, you can totally play it either way and be like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't mind. I can, or just being like. Doesn't, like, not even necessarily, like, purposely to screw them over, but just be like, it doesn't matter to me anymore.
But that's why it's so complicated, because even if it's like Cowell was lying to the Red Court this whole time, he still is the reason all those wardens are dead.
He is.
So he's still not the good guy playing triple, double, quadruple agent for either. You're still just a man on your own who fucking sucks.
Just looking out from, exactly, right? Which is, he wouldn't have.
But we don't know anything about any of that. All we know is that Harry eventually goes to strike good on his deal with Mavra a couple hours late, but
Right?
Bitch, it was a night.
That's right. And that is the other thing, because I'm like, seriously, this whole thing wasn't already going down at, like, I mean, I guess it has to be on Halloween, but it's not going down, like, at midnight, because he's supposed to meet her, and it's still, like, after the thing is said and done, and they've picked up the bodies and got him back to Harry's place, and then the cavalry has come in to pick up the wounded, and now he still has like half an hour to go. I'm like, what was this, like 8:30? Like, wow.
I have it in my head. It was like, 9 o'clock. I don't know where I got that from, but I had it in my head that it was like 9 or something.
When he was supposed to meet Mavra, or when he was...
Like the DarkHallow.
The DarkHallow. I don't know. Maybe just because he managed to get to Mavra at midnight, so you're like, it must have been 9 o'clock when this... I'm not sure where that number came from either.
I don't know either. But...
Because it is also, winter time, so we know it gets dark early-ish. But yeah, seriously, it's like 6:30, the sun just went down. Let's bring out the dinosaur. It's like, I mean, again, granted, fight time, it takes so much longer to describe it all than it actually has, to happen. But it just, it was still funny when he's like, oh, I had like half an hour to me. I'm like, holy.
This is my other question, too, is that, the stakes were raised so high when she's like, must meet me midnight on Halloween, whatever the fuck she said. And you must not tell anyone. And Harry both was like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want, talk to whoever the fuck I want, show up whatever the fuck I want. But you'll get the book.
Ish. Ish. Right, and again, just with all the lights and power that the phones have magically, thankfully, or non-magically come back on. I don't know how he can still call and leave a message for his rendezvous.
Specific absence of magic.
Right, don't get Thomas to go racing across the city or nothing. I'm just gonna, whatever this mystical phone number is that Mavra's like, just call my people, It's like, I'm not mortal, I can use a cell phone.
Like the FBI agents that listen to Intel on the phones in Chicago are like, this place is weird.
They're like, right. They're like, what?
There might be shit happening in Chicago, who could tell?
Right, it's like the exclusive.
Does Tyrannosaurus Bob mean anything?
Is this like the latest code word? What is? That's why it's like the exclusive, what purview or whatever of like the MIB instead of the FBI. They're like, what, we'll take Chicago. It's fine.
Homeland Security is just like, we need another group just for...
But yes, this time she just walks up to him and he's like, here's your book. And this time, I don't know, he's giving Mouse, but I would think almost it might be almost more important at this point to bring Mouse with him. You're beat to shit still, Harry. Like, I know you didn't know what was up the first time, and now you know why you're going, but I'm like, I feel like Mal should be with you for this meeting, too, just saying.
Now he feels leveled up? Like, no, bro.
Like, okay, now you know what you're going for, but you also are, like, completely magically and physically depleted. Like,
especially
you are...
he does this whole threatening thing. He's like, you never fucking come after my friends again. You have an issue with me, you bring it up with me. And she's like, great.
Yeah, well, you're what, like,
yourself.
Stooped over, like, you're, like, hobbling up.
Mavra should have ended him right now.
Right? She could, like, spit on him and, like, knocked him out,
One good fall into your open grave.
She's just like, doing, and I'm like, you're not getting out.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have, like, we know this thing only comes up to, like, but you just don't have the strength to pull yourself out of this 6 foot deep hole right now. Like, you're just stuck.
Flash.
You're, like, turtled down there for, like, 3 days until someone finds you.
Flash, can you teach me how to float?
Just tell me stories, I'm bored.
She's gonna be awesome for that.
I am right.
But also be really annoying because every time you tell a story wrong, she'd be like,
No. That was the version.
They're trying to tell the Disney story, and she's like, the Grimm version says this, actually. Shut up.
And the version before that, and the version before that, and the version before that. So really, like, no fairy tale you know is anything like the one you know. Oy vey. Yeah. So,
but this also moment, interrupting you, I'm more important, I have things to say.
Of course, always.
Thank you.
I meant you were always interrupting. More
important. No, that's not how it came across. This whole Mavra saying, like, you can't even fucking try. Like, you would never go into that power.
Such a fantastic exchange. He's like, yeah, this never happens again. And she's like, yeah, I can.
Things you don't necessarily know.
I've got a fallen angel ripping all over herself, okay? Queen Mab has asked me to take the mantle twice. I've read Kemmler's book. I know how the DarkHallow works. I know how to use fucking necromancy against the Black Court. And that's like a third of his resume.
Oh, that's just like this week.
Literally. The fact that Harry's just like, again, this question from infamous to famous to just like Harry finally recognizing himself, like, I got strings to pull now. Don't make me do it.
Yeah, and really, because I'm like, okay, the map thing has happened, but really, sort of his realization of Lash has just been
Exactly.
these last couple of days.
Exactly.
The Dark
the fallen
Hallow-
angel was never a possibility until tonight.
Until it really kind of, well, but I mean, yeah, not as.
And you gotta think, Last Shiel right now just heard that, and that smirk like the Grinch just grew 10 sizes.
Right. By the way, I noticed you have a Grinch scarf, and that is awesome. Did somebody make that for you? Did you buy that?
No, me and a friend have traded scarves briefly. It's not mine.
Oh, because it is. I'm like,
Funny enough, it matches my elf toque, though.
I was like, that'd be the kind of thing Kenzie would love. Sorry, Grinch smart. But yeah, I love. And he's like, exactly, like right now, these are things I could get my hands on at the drop of a hat. And again, I just like, because it's so true. Because again, when initially we're all like, oh yeah, don't try this again. And Mavra's like, you won't. And he's like, I can. And she's like, but it wouldn't be right. Oh, she's like, you don't have the power. And he's like, I can get it. And she's like, but you won't, because that wouldn't be. And Harry's just like, fuck it, I'll deal with that one, right? And Mavra's like, oh. Like, you can't just take it for granted. Yeah, Harry's the good guy. Yeah, Harry's going to try and do that. Yeah, there's lines. You know what I mean? But he's like, no, I'm telling you right here, right now, you try to come after me or my friends, I will cross that line and deal with the consequences later. And she's like, it is such a beautiful smackdown because you're totally, you're kind of right there with Mavra at first being like, empty threats, Harry, you can't cross that line. He's like, but you know what? I got all these
I actually
people
crossed like 4 lines tonight. I didn't think I would, so fuck it, let's go. But
Yeah.
it was a little bit of that Mark Hone thing too, where it's like, listen, I'm gonna come for you one day. I don't have time right now, but you're on my shit list. It's coming eventually. And it's crazy to me that, Mavra's like,
Yeah, eventually.
again, doesn't end him right now. Like, it's just, you guys are so dumb. I don't want Harry to die, but I would have had this bitch done immediately.
Well, again, a threat like that. And I mean, again, is it you don't know what else Harry has lurking in the background? Like, I don't know, maybe Mouse is out there watching you, and the second you make a move, he's going to jump out and rip her throat out or something, right? Who knows? Maybe that's why she does it, but...
Just a little bit of shock, like,
Well, but even still, like you say, the shock factor is, it's a good point of, like, even if it's 5 minutes later, she should be like, I should turn around and kill this dude right now. It is very fair point. And I mean, it's funny because Harry has made this point to other people, like, you don't read, like, the evil overlord. Harry, like, knows. I'm like, why are you setting yourself up? Like you said, Bob had really good advice. If any of these people are listening, yeah. Because other than Lashiel potentially being able to, and, she could maybe sort of give him some kind of insta defense right then if Mavra made a move like that, he could super time it. But yeah, he's basically got like nothing else. He's got absolutely no defense against Mavra right now, so why doesn't she? Mm-hmm. Other than the fact that, I don't know, he could be useful to her. But yeah, her smugness is very whatever, but yeah.
And she does take him seriously and does leave. And while at the gravesite, the presence of his father joins him, and they do have this little wrap up conversation about the death curse of die alone that was thrust upon him.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel so tired I might be hallucinating right now. Hi, Dad.
No, you're fine. But yeah, and again, it gives you this little insight to Harry where he's like, maybe it means I'll never love anyone. No one will ever love me. I'll never have a wife. And so you start thinking like, Harry maybe wants a wife and kids and a home. And, again, like again, he's young, so he's not necessarily quite there yet. And the fact that he, took up being a private investigator, you're kind of thinking this is not... But yeah, maybe long term, which for Harry, you could do this for 100 years and then settle. Well, you keep making him older and older. He's had like 2 or 3 centuries, but exactly right. Harry could conceivably go for like 100 years and then decide to, you know what I mean? But it's like at some point, yeah, Harry does maybe want a wife and kids, and you know what I mean. So you don't really think about it. He's too busy running around and being the hero and too many life and death situations. You can't. But I mean, yes, Harry didn't necessarily know there were going to be this many type of life and death. I mean, yeah, he did set up as a supernatural PI, but yeah, right? It's just like that. Aw, Harry. Aww.
Well, I mean,
You're not just the stoic.
Die alone is very broad, right? We don't know what that is. And Malcolm's whole, we all die alone. We all have to cross that bridge alone. I don't really like that. The way he phrases it all, the whole like, no matter what, you're going to be, I hope Butcher and Malcolm are wrong. Like,
I do and I don't. Yeah, again, on the one hand, it's very hard. On the other hand, because yeah, Harry's like, I'd like to think someone would be there holding my hand, right? I'm like, yeah, that way, I think you're right. If you look at it from that point of view, I'm like, yeah, you have people, but you're right. The time that you die, provided you're not like the wardens or, in a plane crash. Like, yeah, you're
But even to
the
that,
only one going at that time, kind of.
But
thing. Like,
even that, it's essentially once you've passed the other side, you don't see all those other people with you. You only see yourself and the light or whatever the fuck it is.
Well, but then he does say you're not alone on the other side. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just that, when you die, it's you die, and then, as you go, you'll see whoever else is, right? So I'm with you there a little bit. I'm like, I do and I don't, but I have to kind of separate it out. On the one hand, I'm like, it doesn't sound more comforting. But if you look at it on the whole, I'm like, okay, kind of is, because he's still saying that, well, you could still have somebody right up there with you until the end. It just means that, yes, as you die doesn't mean your wife is, Unless you're doing the whole suicide pact thing, you're probably not going through that doorway together, but yeah.
He also does this whole, okay, well, you did make some bad decisions tonight, but you didn't do it for yourself. You weren't being selfish about it. You were trying to save other people. That does count for something. And this other moment, too, with that, on top of the fact that Harry looks at his grave and he's like, he died doing the right thing. And then he's like, God, I hope so. And to me, that fully seems like a straight-up prayer to actual God for once.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, though, we're talking about the afterlife. One day I will die, however the fuck that ends up happening. I died doing the right thing. God, I hope so. To me,
not
that
just
seemed,
a turn of phrase.
not even a turn of phrase.
Thing,
to
but
me, that would just seem like an actual straight up like, hey, Michael, share some of your faith today.
Right. Even that, though, I kind of, when he's like, I did things, I made a deal I shouldn't have, I crossed the line. He's like, I know, it only means what you decide it means. I'm like, yes and no. Like, okay, I get where you're going, and yes, but at the same time, I'm like,
Cassius thought he had good reason. Jonathan thought he had good reasons.
I don't think
Owl thinks he has good reasons.
Exactly.
Crane thinks he has good reasons.
Right.
Every bad guy on Earth always justifies their shit somehow.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not just what Harry decides. Like, again, maybe he means to, maybe he can, but like you say, I'm like, straight black and white, like Morgan and stuff like that. I'm like, they have a certain amount of justification for wanting to date, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, just because you did it for a good reason or whatever, or it'll play out in the long run, but, like you say, right? I'm like, well, yes and no, but again, if what he's wondering about right now was the bad decision he made, then you say, well, it only matters what you decide. I'm like, well, apparently he's going to keep making that.
In that case, I decide everything's totally fine.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah.
I'm father comforting
when
a
the
child,
decision making is what's in question, you can't say it's all fine based on the decision making, But yes, exactly. It's
so Harry
did it for the right reasons.
Yeah. Harry goes home and goes to bed for days. With Butters intermittently coming to change out bandages and IVs.
I know.
And
the next time he surfaces, he's got like an IV and every. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, how does that work exactly? Because I'm like, okay, not that I know a lot about this stuff, but like
IV is just gravity, I think, though.
No. Shut up. No. I know how an IV works.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. I thought you were gonna be like technology magic.
No. Oh God. No. Nothing to do with that. No. Okay. Like cosmeticians and hairdressers and stuff like that, right? There are like hairdresser supply stores, but you have to be like a licensed or whatever hairdresser to go and get, right? Like the wholesale, right? You can't just go and buy 30 pounds of hair dye yourself, right? So I'm assuming, like, okay, but again, that makes sense. There are people, but again, if you are any kind of hairdresser or salon, you still can just go. I'm like, he's an Emmy. He deals with, like, dead bodies. I'm like, somehow it feels weird that he can just, go up and be like, I need me some IVs. And, like, they're like, okay, you're a doctor. Like, you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Because you don't have to be, like, a practicing hairdresser or whatever. I think as long as you maintain, right? But I'm like, yeah, how does it work the same? And I mean, again, maybe he's not doing super, I mean, fine, saline solution is maybe.
But, the Emmy is attached to a hospital, so maybe he just like walked to the supply closet and was like, I'm stealing some shit.
But he's in the Forensic Institute, so he's not even right.
But there's still like a lunchroom or something.
Just because every morgue just keeps saying
I'm
IVs
saying
in his
it's
lunchroom.
attached to a hospital.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it? Because he's in the Forensic Institute. He's not in other ones, and he used to be. And other TV shows and books we've read that the morgue is usually located in the basement of a hospital. But I feel like they've moved it all to this Forensic Institute. The Forensic Institute sounds like a fucking like crime lab and storage facility and not an active running hospital where you would have active medical supplies on hand.
Well, I don't know what he's a part of. Is he Cook County or?
I think so. I don't know. Is the Forensic Institute a real thing?
Yeah, well, I don't know. They've got like 20. They've got the police one. They've got the Cook County one. They got the... I don't know, Mom. I don't know.
Okay, well, what's the difference?
I think that's a lot of details to put in an outro of a book so that, like, explain where Butters gets his supplies.
Well, that was my point. I wasn't sure. She's the one that's starting to look up where. I just thought, I'm like, it's interesting that the ME can get saline solution. That was all. That was what my point was. But yes. Blame it on her. She's the one.
I'm sorry, Butcher. We're not actually asking this question.
Inquiring
You
minds.
don't have to think about these things.
Yeah, Jessica. Jesus. Why do you always have to go off on tangents?
My bad. Okay, Murphy shows up.
Yeah, that's the next best part. She turns him together, which really, totally fair. He's like, oh yeah, we kind of left her place. Which, okay, Harry again. Harry was running around trying to do all this shit, and then he was like trying not to die. Thomas, at some point, couldn't have gone back. Even Butters, kind of. I'm like, okay, you were busy trying to do like first aid on people, and you had this whole sudden face jammed into the reality of the supernatural. But I was like, neither like Thomas nor Butters were like, oh hey, maybe we should go and put like,
Fuck her.
go close the door on Murphy's linen closet or something, like I mean, Thomas again, kind of part of me is like, it totally fits in with the whole self-centered vampire playboy thing. But then you also get that other side of Thomas where he's like, yeah, it's really just an act. Thomas really isn't as bad and does tend to think of these tiny little touches like, happy birthday, Harry, and and I'm like, but this he doesn't think of. Like, they all just invaded her home and they're like, nobody thought
Bunch of boys, they're rude, okay?
We stole her motorcycle, we ate her iPhone. Which even that could be forgivable because, as they say, it would have gone bad, right? So even that, but all the right, they ate the food, you took her motorcycle, you tore up her lawn, you like fucking like,
You know what? Just next time, let the plants die.
Yeah, right. I'll just buy new plants. Like, fuck you, I'm never giving you a key again.
She was going to give him shit till she found out what actually happened.
She doesn't even know what happened.
She doesn't even know.
Harry's destroyed.
Once again, he's beat to shit and covered him. And actually hooked up to an IV at home, so shit's gotta be bad.
And potentially notice that, like, his windows are busted in.
Hey, that's true. His place got trashed by zombies, and the door got folded in, and the window got smashed out, pulling a medical examiner through it.
But Murphy got up to some little, like, hanky-panky on vacation because when Harry goes to tell her his story, he's like, I'll trade you for mine, and she gets pinker.
That's right. She's
a bit
got,
bashful.
I don't know, maybe a broken wrist or something, and, like, some bruising.
What did you do in Hawaii?
Got interesting for a few days. And it's kind of because part of me is like, my God, how long is this vacation? And I was like, oh yeah, the whole thing, Harry's whole thing was like 3 days or something, I think, when Mavra comes. And then if he's like, he says he's been recovering, so I'm like, it could be just like a week or 10 days, which actually would be a normal, reasonable vacation for you. Because at some point, it just almost felt like it had been so long since all that. Like, how long was Murphy gone? Like, she didn't come home to bitch at him for like 3 weeks?
No, all of SI.
Like, no, it's been like 10 days. And
all of SI showed up. And, like, you took the best time to take vacation, you motherfucker.
Do you know what the fuck went on? Yeah, that's right. First day
Never getting Halloween off again.
They're like, okay, so first of all, Sue.
Just crazy. You think, police
and
force
she'll
would
be like, enough said.
No one gets vacation on Halloween or Christmas.
Yeah, right?
The fact they let her leave is crazy.
I don't care that you've never taken it in, like, the whole, like, 20 years you've been on the force. Yeah.
And a little bit extra thrown in there, too. Butters brings Harry a Christmas gift. A birthday gift. My bad. A birthday gift. Butters brings Harry a birthday gift.
Did you come just... Okay, yeah.
Oh,
no, wait, that's...
We haven't been doing any of this in an actual linear order of what
No, we've been discussing this chapter all over, yeah. Because that's what I was thinking at first, but then I'm like, wait, doesn't he say it comes, like, several weeks later? Several weeks later, Butters shows up. So I'm like, it actually could be a Christmas...
It does say it's wrapped in Christmas paper.
Oh, yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking at first, too, but I was like, no, it's several. So Harry's had, like, some decent downtime to recover.
Okay, good, so I can make my point then.
You can make your point. It's a Christmas present.
It's a Christmas present, and Harry doesn't reflect on it here, but to me, this seems like it should go instantly to, like, one of Harry's only ever Christmas presents.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh, Butters, like, it's even crazier that it was, like, from you. And it's just like,
first brand new friend kind of a thing, like, and you're just like, the Jewish medical examiner. Here's a Christmas present. Yeah.
And obviously there's a little bit of a too. It's not just a gift, but it is a guitar.
Yes.
So Harry can start doing some hand therapy.
And again, it's I love how he does the whole, like my hand doesn't work, and he's like, not yet, that's the point, you know?
But, flashback to the very beginning of the book when Butters is like, I think you are going to get it back.
Yeah.
And if you just work at it, if you just try little by little, it's actively healing right now.
Which is unheard of, so yeah.
Here we go, Harry. You're going to start learning to play guitar.
Yeah, and like you said, you had him doing the little squishy ball exercises, and he's like, yeah, here you go, this is right, and it's like...
Yep, guitar for dummies, get on it.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but we have that moment right after that where he is
I can't see.
encouraging his healing, and then he doesn't even think about it and does a flickum-bickus and lights a candle, which he was not able to do, or was hesitant, just not doing those spells.
I'm so proud of him.
Right.
And it's a really nice moment to just smile to yourself and be like,
well, even like he's saying that just to yourself, because he's like, hey, Butters, you're a good, right? Exactly. He's like, I can't, you made me read the stupid book and I can't see and I need light, and just exactly like all of that, just casually, yeah, you're a good healer. I think so.
aw. Welcome to the team, Butters.
Aww.
This concludes our episode 13.32, Necromancers in the Wind. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.